Okay, so for those of you that I haven't met, I'm Scott Talley, the founder of Network in Action down in Houston, Texas, and super excited about today's sales mastery. You know, the anatomy of the sales conversation might be one of the best topics ever in our 4 or 5 year history of sales calls. And what's really cool about it, I have a real nice formal announcement about Sondra, but I want to tell you a story instead. I had the good fortune of June of traveling up to Northern Colorado and meeting with about 95 Network in Action members in Northern Colorado. It was an awesome 2 days. And then one day, the franchise owner there, Andrew, had set aside a day for me to stay in a room and meet with about 12 members, sort of back to back to back, about 30 minutes. And I told my wife before I left, I don't know how I'm going to sit still. And I don't know how I'm going to be in a little room for 9 hours, but I'll do my best. And it was the greatest day in the 11-year history of Network in Action because I met so many incredible business owners that day. Really great, high quality people. It was just awesome and very rewarding for me personally. And of all of those people that stuck out the most, our speaker today, Miss Harper, I hope I'm not embarrassing you, but you are going to quickly see why she stands out. She's a very special person, a very talented individual with incredible knowledge to share. And more importantly, I think I can honestly say a passion for sharing it. And the number one thing I like to say, she's been where every one of us have in her life. She's been in the rat race. She's been there, done that, knows how to help you get out of it. And so I'm going to get off of here and turn it over to Sondra. I'm super grateful you're sacrificing your time, all of you, to be here. And I know you're going to find it valuable. It's all yours.
Thank you so much, Scott. I really appreciate that introduction. That was so awesome. Hi, everybody. My name's Sondra Harper. How's everybody doing? Just raise your hand, say, hey, I'm good. Yay! Yay, let's get some energy. I know that Zoom is not my favorite way to teach, but I am so excited that I have this opportunity to be here with you today. I'm out in Boulder, Colorado today, and look at this beautiful background. Isn't that gorgeous? This is my friend's home, so happy to be here. Okay, without further ado, today we're going to talk about a topic that I bet everybody here wants to know more about, or at least maybe wants to learn more about, sales. So let's get started. So I prepared this little slideshow, and again, I'm open to questions if anybody has any. In just a moment, I'm going to take some of those. Let's talk about the small business owner. So I believe that the small business owner is what creates a thriving society. And when that small business owner is thriving, so too is the society. But what we know is that without sales, it doesn't matter how amazing we are at what we do. It doesn't matter if we have gold in our pocket. If we don't know how to sell it, nobody's going to buy it. And so I became really passionate about teaching this because I watched so many people who were passionate about what they do, not be able to get out there and get it in front of the right people at the right time. So, who here loves this? Buy my stuff. Who here loves this? When a guy is like, hey, just buy this. Just, hey, can you just buy this thing? Can you buy this? Can you buy this? Hey, buy this. Nobody likes that, right? Nobody loves this pushy sense of, I just want you to buy what I have. Even though we can be really excited and happy to share what we have, really a lot of people out there, they don't like it when they're being sold to. Can I get a hand up if that's true, that everybody feels that way? Yeah, nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. Sell it to me now, please, right? What is really important is the relationship that we build with that person. So I want to tell you a brief story before I go there. This is actually supposed to be me. My husband and I had an electrical company that we had grown together with our cousin, which was our business partner. We were so excited. And I remember we had about 6 trucks and 12 guys working for us. And we took out a second mortgage to open a second part of our company. And I had 2 little kids. And I don't know if anybody here has kids, but I have kids. Raise your hands if anybody here has children, grandchildren, dog kids. Hey, we all have kids. And what I know about children is they like a place to live, right? And I remembered laying in bed at night with this massive weight on my chest and thinking, how am I going to cover all of these bills? How am I going to cover payroll for my guys? How am I going to make sure that all of this gets taken care of? And I had this epiphany moment, and that was I got to learn this skill of selling. And I got to learn it in a way that helps me build rapport with other people. So fast forward, we did that. My husband and I learned the art of sales. It took us 2 years. We went down to Dallas and learned how to sell relationally is what it is. And we sold that company actually for 10x what we had started it for. My name again, Sondra Harper. I've written a book and you can find that on Amazon. It's called Ditch Your Brand, Fix Your Pitch. It's all about the methodology that I use in my education that helps people get more closings. It helps people build relational selling, the relational selling model. I have built and sold multiple businesses, and I help countless business owners with their sales process. So what are you guys going to get today? I mean, you're probably like, oh, what is she going to do? What is this going to be about all day? What, or this hour? We're going to craft together a powerful elevator pitch that you can use immediately. You're going to be able to walk out of this meeting and have a couple of things that you can say at your networking group that are so powerful that people will lean in and they'll go, how do you do that? And if you get this down, this model of how to create this pitch, you can use it in other places like social media. You can use it on your website. So we're also going to talk about techniques for overcoming objections. And I don't know, who here loves objections? Anybody? I can't see everybody's faces, but I'm just gonna assume that there is very few of you out here that are like, yeah, I love an objection. I love it when somebody says no, or how much, like, why does it cost this much? We're going to learn some techniques to overcome objections right now, today, and do it in a way that feels more like relationship building than let me just sell you something. And then the third thing we're going to talk about is, let's say you have this amazing pitch, you have this incredible product. How do you get found? And why the importance of that is more important today than it's ever been. I like to stop here and just see if anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns. I'm very interactive. I like to get feedback from the audience. Like I said, Zoom is a hard way for me to teach because I can't see your faces or gauge what you're doing. But I'm going to assume no, unless somebody is in the chat asking anything. Are we good?
Nothing in the chat. You're good.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, let's keep going. So let's talk about the two major machines that are in any business. You've probably heard this before, but machine number one is your sales. It's your pitch. It's your marketing message. And then machine number two is how you're being found. And these two things working together are really what create a thriving business that you can live on. You can support your children. You can support them going to college. So we're going to go deep into these two different machines. We have to really consider when we craft messages and we're on social media or our website or even our Google profile, which I'm going to talk about a little bit today. You say to yourself, why is that related to a pitch? Well, because how you present yourself is seen online. And I know everybody here already knows this, but how you're being found and what you're saying to that buyer is so important, and how you're saying it. So I do want to talk about this because this is another story that I have and why I'm so passionate about teaching this content. This was a few years ago. I really wanted to have a coaching program that was put out to LinkedIn. And I'm going to be totally heart transparent with everybody here right now. I spent so much money trying to get my message seen on LinkedIn. I bought another coaching program to teach me how to sell on LinkedIn. And I probably put upwards of $20,000 into it. And maybe that's not a lot to some of you, but to me, that is a lot of money. That was hard-earned money, time spent. And guess what I got after many months of trying? Nothing. I got nothing. I got no clients. I didn't get any of my ROI back. And that is what made me passionate about teaching this, is because I thought, what was it? What didn't work? Why didn't I get what I wanted? And it was a marketing misfire. It was my message did not match my people that I was trying to get in front of. And so it just went like this. And they just basically, we were like ships in the night. They didn't see it, they didn't understand it, and it didn't get bought. And so that is something that we cover deeply in my curriculum, is how to really create these messages that the person that's your avatar goes, oh my gosh, I need that thing, I want it. So I had to share that story with you because just like you, I don't know if you've ever spent money on marketing and then had it go nowhere, and how disappointing and disheartening that can be, especially in a business. It's a small business and every single dollar counts, especially dollars in marketing. So I've been there. So if you are here and you are a small business owner and you're struggling a little bit with inconsistent sales, or you feel like when you're talking to people about what you do, they go, huh? And their eyes glaze over and your elevator pitch, if you will, kind of falls flat. Or if you face objections, somebody says, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I'm not really in the market right now. And you go, okay, well, let me just tell you about the features or the benefits. And then they don't buy. Or if you want a simple, repeatable way to actually sell things easily, you are actually in the right place. That is what Anatomy of Great Sales Conversation is. So working with lots of different small business owners and being one myself, I found that there are really 3 common holes in any sales process. And there's probably more than that, but I dive deep into these 3 or 4 holes that happen in not just conversation, but also in marketing message. And today we're going to cover the top 3. Number 1, your elevator pitch. So you're out there and you're saying, my name is such and so, and I do X and Y and Z, and people go, okay. Or you have a really great elevator pitch, but maybe you're not being found. But the number 1 is your elevator pitch. It falls flat. And I go deep into this in my book, where we talk about why it's important to have an elevator pitch where somebody leans in and says, how do you do that? It evokes a state of curiosity. Number 2, this guy is like ineffective objection handling. Like, no. We're going to go into just a little bit today how sometimes objections can feel overwhelming. And so what we do as the person representing the business, or our people that we train, maybe our inside sales agents, we skim over the objection. And what that actually does is break rapport with people, and it breaks rapport with the market. Remember earlier in the conversation, I said that my marketing message just didn't match. It actually was a rapport break that I was doing and didn't realize it. Number 3, let's say you all have amazing elevator pitches. You're great at handling objections, but I go to your Google profile right here on my little phone, which I know everybody has. That's my husband. And I can't find you anywhere. That's actually a hole in one of your sales, or I have to scroll through pages and pages and pages and pages to find your business. I'm probably going to get bored as a consumer and not be able to find you and go to someone else who sells a similar thing, but probably doesn't have the heart and soul that you have behind your business. So let's talk about the pitch. And here in a minute, we're going to break out into a couple of sessions. Desiree is going to break us out in just a moment, and you guys are going to give each other your pitch. So, and what you're going to look for is 2 things. You're going to look, did it evoke a state of curiosity when the person gave you the pitch, or did it fall flat? And you're also going to look for, am I interested? Even if you're not buying what the person's selling, you want to know, like, as you listen to it, did it evoke a state of curiosity? You're also going to look for, did it go on and on and on? Was it too short? Was it too long? And then you're going to give each other feedback. This is an interactive class that we're doing today. This is not just I talk at you. This is you guys are going to interact. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put those in the chat now. My business partner is on here, Alicia, and she will more than happy to help you. So let's talk about your elevator pitch. it needs to create a state of curiosity. It needs to be attention grabbing. And one of mine is, my name is Sondra Harper, and I help the small business owner overcome the pain and suffering of not enough sales through a 4-week methodology to help them close more business. Needs to create curiosity, it needs to answer a question, and if it can, it needs to position you as an expert. Now, I know I'm going through this kind of fast, so if anybody has any questions, please feel free to stop me and ask. Okay, gonna keep going. Did you know this? Are you aware of this statistic? So when you guys give each other these elevator pitches, I want you to be aware of a thing called rapport. And rapport is this deep understanding that another person understands what I'm going through, and they can help me on this buyer journey, this transformational journey from where I am to where I want to go, right? That is all sales really is. It's a transformational journey from where a person is to where they want to go. Did you know that 93% of people, 93%, so if you're standing in a room of 100 people, 93 of them need to have some kind of rapport building conversation. And today, rapport building is social media. Rapport building is having that marketing message out there that people understand you and that they feel that you get their problem. Only 7% out of 100 people, only 7 will buy on benefit, and right now is the right time. Only 7% can you look at them and say, I have this thing to sell, it costs this much money, you want to buy it. Only 7 of those people will say yes, please. So I put that slide in there to give impact to how important it is to have this message, this pitch that solves a problem, solves a pain point, and creates a transformation for people, because that's what sales is. It's a transformation that you take people through. All right. Again, your pitch. So as you're starting to think about this in just a moment, you guys are going to break out into rooms. You want that to be like this woman. How do you do that? You want somebody to be like, how do you do that? How do you actually create transformation in a person's sales process in 4 to 6 weeks? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Then you can give more information. But before you get the permission to give more information from the buyer, you've just jumped that. I'm going to go back one slide. You've jumped that bridge. And now those 7 people are like, okay, I'm in the market right now, I'll buy it. And the other 93 are going, wait a minute, I wasn't ready for you to pitch me. So now we're going to role play. Now is the time that you guys are going to have about 5 minutes, I believe. You're going to break out into sessions, and you're just going to give each other your pitch, your elevator pitch, as if you are at a networking event, which it's interesting, you actually are. And notice how you feel. Notice, did it evoke curiosity? Was it too long? Was there a lot of feature and benefits? Did you feel like you were being sold? Because that's a telltale sign that that pitch is probably not going to land well if you felt sold to. All right, go ahead and break out into rooms now, and you guys have about 5 minutes. All right, how did that go, everybody? Anybody have any feedback that they noticed? Anybody want to raise their hand and talk about what they learned?
I need a shorter business pitch.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, it was a really good thing. Someone pointed out that it's called an elevator pitch for a reason. You have a short amount of time to be on the elevator together, and you want to close it before you get off. So I thought that was a good analogy.
That's a great analogy. Yep. All right, good. All right. Let's keep going. So now you kind of get the idea that the elevator pitch is super important, especially when you're out talking about yourself, and not just to your friends and family, but like Miranda said, people, you might run into them at the Starbucks, or maybe at your, local Rotary, or your church group, or your yoga class. What do you talk about in a way about your business that has them lean in and say, yes, I would like to know more about that. I really liked, I can't remember the gentleman that was in my class, in my breakout room, but he did a great job with his pitch. Nice job.
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, you did a good job. I'd like to come to your lunch and learn. All right, let's move on. We got a lot to cover. Who loves objections? Just, woo, Doug. Yes, yeah, okay. Most people don't. They go, So here's the thing about objections, and I just want to put this into your mind. They're a part of every process, every sales process, and we're always selling something. It doesn't matter if you're trying to convince somebody to go to dinner with you, or you're trying to get them to go to a movie, or you've got an idea, you're always selling something. And objections are part of the process. You can learn how to overcome them in a way that actually creates a bond with another person, or it breaks it. So sometimes people think objection equals rejection, but I want to say that it doesn't. Objection actually equals help. It means, as the consumer, help me understand what I'm going to get. Help me understand, like I said earlier, what is that transformational journey that you're going to take me through? What benefit is it to me? That's what they need. They need help. They need help understanding how you're going to solve that problem. Like I say, I'm going to go into this in a little bit, but value not articulated is value not appreciated. And when a person has an objection and you cannot overcome it with really building rapport with them, you can't really articulate what the value of your product or service is. So one of the most powerful questions you can ask a person in a sales process, and even when you're marketing to them online, is what holds you back from moving forward? What, until now, why haven't you made that decision? What is holding you back from doing it? What another one you might want to write this down to is, what have you tried in the past? Did it work or did it not work? Right? Because they are coming to you for this quality of transformation, and it doesn't matter what you sell, you're trying to get them over this bridge to where they want to be. And asking them the question of, what actually is holding you back from buying or from making that decision to buy? That gives you such powerful criteria as to why they didn't do it, or they didn't do it in the past with someone else, or what experience they had. And I promise you this, if you'll actually use this and you listen to what they say, or you listen, even if you create something online and you do like a form and people fill it out and it gives you information and you listen to it, you will understand why your buyer buys what they buy, how they buy it, and when they buy it. Let's move on. So we're going to role play. I know this was really fast, but we're running out of time. We're 30 minutes in. So when you guys come out, this is the second part of the role play process. You're going to be broken into groups here in just a moment. Maybe one person share what are some common objections, and then the other person say, here's how I'd handle it, and see how the person would handle it. And just start to notice, do you feel sold to? Or do you feel like, man, I really want to buy what you have because I feel understood by you as a person buying it? All right, let's get started. You have about 5 minutes. Go ahead and break out. Good luck. So how did it go? Any feedback? Did you love it?
It went really good. Sondra, one thing that Shannon shared, and it made sense to me, that when we're doing objection handling, part of it is our response needs to be simple, quick, with confidence. Same thing as an elevator pitch.
Yep.
Because otherwise you start losing people. And so that really stood out to me. Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah, that's really good. It does need to be simple. It needs to be to the point, right? And sometimes when you end up, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to share, someone in my group, I forget the name, but she gave us some great feedback where she said to the objection, she mentioned, well, if there's a way for us to figure that out, is there something that we can move forward with? And, that was a great point, because that's like a halfway commitment, and it's an invitation to take a closer look.
Absolutely. It is an invitation. And one thing with rapport building that we go deeper into is if you will actually repeat back their words in the way that they say it, that has a person feel understood and heard. So when you do that with confidence and you do it quickly, you say it in the way that they said it. Instead of just you say what you say and they say what they say. No, you say what they say. That's so many says. But does that make sense? Any questions about that one? Is that okay? Cool. Cool. So we're gonna move on to the third hole, and I love talking about this one. And if everybody has their cell phone, I know most of us have one. It is the 21st century. If right now you got on your phone and you Googled your business and you just Googled what your business is in the little byline right here, like in Google, and you just put in that kind of a service, where do you rank? Go ahead and look at that for a second, because it doesn't matter how good the pitch is or the messaging is, if it's not getting out to the right people at the right time, which is Google, because most people search on Google. As I know you all know this, your Google profile being set up correctly is so important for your small business. And what I see all too often is that it's not even set up, or it's set up improperly. What you're looking at right here, and you say, well, how does this go with sales? Because if you can't be found, you can't sell. And it takes a lot of time. Let's say you've run through all your friends, your family, and your sphere of influence. Now you got to get to a wider audience. And the only way to get to a wider audience is the lovely internet and Google, right? So what you're looking at right here is called the heat map tool. And what the heat map tool is, we do a free audit of your website to see how you're being how you're being found. And this red indicates you're not, and the green indicates you are. So remember I said earlier, value not articulated is value not appreciated. So you could have you have heart, you have soul, you're good at what you do. And I know you are, because you wouldn't be part of this networking group if you weren't, because this draws amazing people, right? But if you don't know how to talk about it and it falls on deaf ears, or it's not getting seen, your business likely isn't making the money that you need to thrive. Is that true? I know it's true for me. Is it true for you? Yeah. Okay. This is the same point again. Yeah, Jonathan, thank you for that. If they can't find you, you don't exist. And you can go, I mean, there's a lot of ways to launch business, right? You can go to a lot of networking groups, and that is such a fantastic way to start a small business. And it's heavy lifting on all of you, because you can't tell every single person in that networking group everything about you, right? That's why we rely on the internet, is to be found, websites, which we don't do, all of these things, right? This guy, he's created I love this picture. I just got to let you know, I created it on ChatGPT. Heads up for chat, Imagine that your pitch is working for you 24/7. So now think about it. You got everything aligned. You have this beautiful pitch. You're out talking to people about it. You're making great sales. It's in your marketing material on your website. Now you also have it on your Google profile, and you're sleeping at night, unlike I was in that story earlier, stressing and worrying if I was going to make payroll. That's not going to happen now, because your pitch is going to work 24/7 for you. Your pitch, your messaging, how you're selling. So I want you to think about this as not a very comfortable thing, but the last time you lost a sale. I'm just going to pause for a second, and I'm going to go into how I lost one. Do you want to hear about that? Yeah. Okay. I had a gentleman come to me, and he was looking for some sales coaching, and he wanted specific details, okay, on what he was going to get. And I gave him a general overview. And guess what I got? Nothing. So those little things, when somebody is asking for specific detail and you give a general overview, that can be one. And you may not even know, why did they ghost me? because you didn't speak the language that they're speaking. He needed minute details. On this day, you're going to learn this. And then you're going to learn this concept. And then you're going to learn this. He needed step by step. And I gave him a general. Why is that so important? Well, let's say you're trying to sell something that it takes a lot for people to warm to the idea. It's a lot of education, right? You have to understand that when people learn about your product, they need both detail and general. Any questions about, anybody else want to share anything about the last time they lost a sale? No. Okay. Maybe you guys.
Yeah, Sondra, I was just going to say it's Patrika again. When you mentioned about speaking their language, and immediately made me think of the bank system. So the more we understand the personalities that we're dealing with and being able to identify because I mean, I'm not the knowledge, I'm not the K in the bank, I'm the nurturer. And so you give me the fluff and the how you doing and the family and, I'll connect quickly, but you start getting into blueprints and all those fine details. Okay, too soon for that. You're losing me already. So it's a matter of getting to know, and I'm still trying to master that. It's still not the easiest thing to master, but it made me think of that.
That's awesome, because you're right. It isn't something we master overnight. It's something that we practice and we get better and better at over time. And to your point, maybe people, that's the thing we go into too, is if you're too technical in your jargon and how you give information about your process, your product, your group. If you're super technical and the other person is not technical, just like Patrika, you've lost them. Conversely, if you're super friendly and you're all emotionally based and this person is data oriented and you don't give them data, you've lost your sale. So that's what we teach, is rapport and understanding how they buy, what they buy, and when they buy it. How to overcome that objection before they've even had it come out their mouth. Let's keep going. We're closing in on our time here, you guys. To recap, these are just 3 of the major holes that I see when I work with small business owners. Some of it's your pitch, which everybody's like, I don't like pitch. But yet, if you can master a really great pitch that people lean in and say, how do you do that? So powerful for your brand, for what you're selling. And think about this. This is something I teach a lot. If you don't do the service that you're here to do, you've done the world an injustice, because that's your thing to do, to help other people with the thing that you have, the service you have to give. And learning your pitch is part of that service. And if you can't handle objections in an effective, efficient, and relational way that builds a person's relationship with you, that's another hole in the process. And then not being found on the world's top leading place people look, which is Google. So I want to tell you about, just really briefly, I love this visual that my business partner created. What a wonderful beginning. She's on the call right now, Alicia. Say hello. That's my business partner. I want to tell you a little bit about some of the people who have taken this class with me before. One of them was Melissa, and she owns a medical spa here in Colorado. And she has had a hard time getting people to come into the spa and engage in her services. She's highly educated, right? She has a master's degree. She has all the pedigree. She has all the training. She has even the skills. She has the past clients, and yet she couldn't get people in the door. And after taking our class, she was able to actually learn how to talk to people about it and to put some of that into the marketing messages, so that when she goes out and she's talking to golf courses about her IVs that she does it in a way that they're like, oh yeah, come by. We want those IVs for our guys on the golf course. And that's about storytelling, that she learned how to tell a great story. But this is one of the things she said, that she liked it, and she liked having the words to spark curiosity and she enjoyed the hands-on approach that we do in our education. And it helped her with confidence. Because that can be sometimes what it is, right? Like I know my stuff, I love what I do, but I kind of shy away from asking for the sale. You got to ask. You get, guess what? You get 100% of 0 when you don't ask. So you got to ask for the sale. So if you want to master these secrets and finally make sales feel easy and fun, I love that. Imagine it just being a fun process. Shannon, do you think it could be fun? I see you on, yes. Awesome, awesome. All right, this is what it is. This is what we're offering, and I'm just making my little pitch here. You get 6 live weekly group coaching sessions. These are live. These are not Zoom that you watch later. They're taught. They're from noon to 1:30. I've done several of these cohorts. They're very fun, fast-paced. You get workbooks, you get role play, feedback, live feedback, accountability, and support. And you do get lifetime access to our Anatomy of Great Sales Academy. And you get private group. And the other thing that we're going to do as part of this is we're going to break down why your Google profile isn't working for you. So it's like, what happened to my Google profile? I thought it did work, but yet I'm not being ranked. We're going to go into that a little bit too. Okay, there it is again. We only, Alicia, are we taking 20 people this time?
20 spots available, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, there's the QR code if you want to do it, and I'm open to any questions that you have. I'm going to leave this open for a second, but I'm open to any questions about sales, objections, anything you want to know about your Google page. Well, I mean, within our 9 minutes we have left. All right. I'm going to exit.
If anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself. You can do that by holding the space bar. And I see Patty, you have your hand up. What's up?
Yes. So I'm remote and I, meet with potential clients over Zoom and things like that. I have a discovery call, which is kind of informal, but I'm wondering if maybe it should be more formal with some slides, right? To quantify some things for some of these people, or should it still be, because yes, you have to build that rapport.
What
But
are you selling, Patty? Just to ask.
so yeah, so I'm a fractional COO and I have what's called my ops box, and it's a pre-built remote team and a subscription box model. So
Ooh,
I bring in offshore virtual assistants, and then all that's under my leadership for small businesses. So, and it's been very informal, no slides and like all of this stuff, but I'm wondering, hearing some of these things that maybe I need something a little more structured when we're meeting for the first time.
Have you gotten some feedback from your buyers?
No.
And are you able to sell it the way you're doing it right now?
I have, yes, but I have lost some and one ghosted, and I think it's because I didn't give the data points, was in an accounting firm.
Yeah.
Looking for, offshore assistance, and I did not provide like that structured, this is how much, and like all of those things, so.
I've heard you say structure a couple of times. I feel it would be a great idea if you had a little bit of a slideshow. It doesn't have to be super in-depth,
Right.
but having that slideshow just so you have talking points and then stopping in the middle, asking questions if they have any questions. And I don't know, how much is your product cost?
It depends, starting anywhere from 1,600 up to 30,000 a month, depending on how many teams, call centers, like all of that, so.
One thing I will say that you could take away with is a confused mind always says no. So when you give an option, options need to be 2 to 3 things, that's it. If you give 15 to 20 options, a person's just going to go, what? Okay.
Right, they don't get the option until after a second call happens, because
Okay.
I can't give them one until I know more about their business and what they need.
I love that. Yeah.
But, and the very first call, they all ask, well, how much is it gonna be? So,
Yeah. And you know how I'd start that? I know you're all thinking this. How much is this going to cost? Well, before we go there, blah, 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 let me tell you about what problem this is going to solve. And then you have some slides like, this is how it's going to solve your problem. This is the productivity that we notice goes up. This happens, and people find this amazing result. And you talk about, again, the transformational journey that they're going to go through in those slides, even with a few data points.
Right. Okay.
Does that help, Patty?
Yes, I will work on it for sure. I'm operations, so I know nothing of sales unless there's a process to follow.
I think you're doing great. So just keep that process in mind of keeping, the transformational journey super simple,
Yeah,
not overwhelming, not a lot of information on each slide.
right. Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Sondra,
you.
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
It's Patricia again. I have one sales associate on my team with me, and for your class that you're doing for 6 weeks, can she and I sit together and learn together on
Yes,
that program?
absolutely.
I think that would be
Absolutely.
great because I know we both bring different skill, a little bit of a different skill set, and we both could use some polishing. So
I would love that. Yes, you
Okay.
both can come together.
thank you.
Yep. So I do have a question for people out there. What was something that you walked away with today that's maybe the first time you've heard it put that way? Oh, Patty.
Yeah. When we were talking about the objections, again, sales is not my thing. One of the gentlemen was a wealth manager, and people are always, about, well, I don't have enough money to work with you. And he said, but an assessment doesn't cost you anything. And a part of my sales funnel, we have an assessment call, and I need to get people there. Never thought that I could say, but an assessment doesn't cost you anything. Let's move forward. So I think that's going to be a huge help. Yeah.
Yeah, assessments don't cost anything.
Right.
We offer an assessment of your Google profile for free, costs nothing. So assess, and that's a good way to have people go, oh, I don't have to buy, I can still be in that decision-making process. And you want to allow people the space to have that. Anybody else out there? Thank you so much, Patty.
Yes, thank you.
For me,
yeah.
John, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Jonathan.
you go ahead, please.
Oh, Jonathan, talk. Go for it.
Jonathan. Patrick.
Okay. Real quick, I was just going to mention kind of with what you just said about taking complicated things and making it simple. Running a business can be complicated, and getting to achieving success can be complicated, but you broke it down real easy today. You said 1, 2, 3, get your pitch right, know how to overcome objections, right? And be found. Like, I can wrap my head around that. I could hone in on that. So thank you. That was really great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that feedback. That's really helpful. Thank you. That's what we do. We want to make complex concepts simple. Go ahead, Patricia.
I was just going to feed off of what he was saying, because the elevator pitch, the hook, the curiosity, the outcome, I hadn't looked at it that way before. And when you started talking about it, and I really started reading into it, things just started popping in my head, and it was relatable to me. So I was able to write it down real quick and share it. So I'm with Jonathan. It was very clear, and thank you. It got me thinking.
Good. That's good. Remember this for all of you out there who present to people, and I know you do because you're all selling your businesses. The more complex, the more likely you get the no. The easier it is for a person to say yes. The confused mind always says no. And think about the next time you're out and something's really complex and there's 50 different things to choose from. You get sensory overload and go, I guess I'll just get that one thing, or you get nothing. So simplicity matters, especially when you're selling. All right. Thank you guys so much for showing up today. I appreciate everybody bringing energy. And if anybody has any questions, we have about 2 minutes left.
All right. Well, Ms. Harper, thank you so much for being here today. Hope that was fruitful for everybody. And I do want to encourage all of you to join us next week on the 27th, where our founder, Scott Talley, and Lisa McLeese Kelly, one of our franchisees. They'll be doing a focus forum. So do come back, same time, same place, on a Wednesday. And in the following month, we also have our Network with the Nation, September 3rd, the first Wednesday of the month, followed by the third Wednesday of the month. That's going to be another sales mastery session with Samantha Varner. Her subject, how to ensure people are ready to buy. And on the focus forum for September, we're going to have David Peppelman, and that's going to be crafting your unique selling proposition in any industry. So do stay tuned for that. Sondra, thank you once again. And if anyone wants to see the replay, you can do that by going to networkinaction.com, going to member benefits, clicking National Virtual, and then of course you have access to our video library there. So thank you again. And
Thank you.
all right, everyone have a great week. Thanks again, Sondra.
Thank you.